Hello everyone. Thanks for joining our first ever PE webinar. Joining us today, we have Eric Terrell, David Colbert, and Crystal Jordan. Wave, hello to everybody. Hello, and I'm Lauren from the Unruly team. Nice to meet you, everyone. For those who I haven't gotten a chance to meet in person, I definitely encourage everyone to go ahead and turn on their videos if you feel comfortable. If you don't want to share your video, no problem. Yeah, this is our first time doing a Meetup style webinar, and I'm really excited to be doing it specifically with three amazing PE teachers that we've been working really closely with for the last year. So yeah, do you guys want to introduce yourselves and say a little sentence about yourselves before we get started?
My name is Eric Terrell. On social media, I go by Roundhill PE. I've been using Unruly Splats. I started back in, was it last summer? Last summer we did a STEM camp with Unruly Splats for the entire week. We did 2 different weeks of them, but I've been doing STEM and hashtag STEM in the gym for many years. Most of my stuff you can find on Twitter, Roundhill, Virginia.
Nice. Crystal?
My name is David Colbert. I teach elementary PE at Katie Wright Elementary in East St. Louis, Illinois. And as far as splats wise, I came across splats, I think in the fall sometime. So I got my first pack, and then my district was able to give me some more. So I've kind of been playing with them and exploring them since.
Hi, my name is Crystal Jordan, and I teach elementary, and it's in Virginia in the Rockingham County. And splat-wise, I've been with them about a year at last fall. So I've been tinkering with them and using the gym with my students.
Nice. And I think Crystal and David were both in our last boot camp as well. Is that right?
Yes.
With the virtual spots. Nice. If all of our participants want to just write us in the chat, let us know where you're coming in from. I'm curious. I think we've got people from all over the US here, so give us a wave, say hello. And if throughout the webinar you have a question or you want to speak, just feel free to raise your hand or write in the chat, and then I can unmute you and you can ask a question. So hello everybody. Yeah, my name is Lauren from the Unruly team. I lead marketing here. You've probably gotten lots of emails from me already. And I'm excited to share or hear more. Really, I'm not here to share anything. I'm just here to let you guys speak and learn from everyone. So hello, Diane from Fairfield, Iowa. Nice. John from Michigan. Randy from Chesterfield, Virginia. Oh, nice. Principal who's new to splats. Awesome. Hi.
Yeah, I read that. I'm excited about him. I read that.
We got Vicky from North Carolina. Callan, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Hi. We've chatted on Twitter before. Deanna from Oregon. Hello. Cindy from Fort Lauderdale. Elena from Texas. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to get started. I'm just going to do a quick poll. Those of you who have come to my webinars before, you know I love polls. So I'm going to launch it here. Just curious to know how everyone's staying fit this summer. Walking, running, biking, sports. They just opened up the basketball courts near my house. So that's, I don't play basketball, but it's exciting to see people on the courts. Yoga or anything else that involves physical activity, let us know. Hi, Coach Thomas. I was just thinking about you today. I was hoping that you were doing well with the splats here. Good to see you. Awesome. All right, a few more seconds, and then I'm going to end the poll and share the results with everybody. Lots of running and walking, which is definitely my running and biking is my.
So I've been doing a lot of walking. My dog and I, we go out every morning, afternoon, and evening. We go for about a mile, 2 mile little walk through the park here. I let him off leash at certain places. Yeah, and where most people have gained the COVID-15, I've actually lost the COVID-8. It's been pretty nice.
That's awesome. I've been going up and down. All right. Yeah, lots of people running and walking, which is awesome to see. And it's been so, I mean, I'm from Boston, or I'm not from Boston, but I live in Boston now. And it's been really beautiful out. We've been getting a heat wave here, so definitely want to get out as much as possible. And one more poll before we get going here. Curious about if anybody knows what your school's plans are for back to school. It's going to be sort of all virtual learning, all in person, but distanced. Oh, and I misspelled distance. That's okay, forgive me. And a combination of both, sort of the hybrid model, or you don't know yet. Lots of unknowns and things up in the air.
Illinois just announced yesterday that they're going to allow in-person school in the fall. So
Nice.
I think our district is scrambling to come up with a plan for that.
Yeah, but everything I've heard in Virginia talks about the classroom. I haven't heard them actually talk about specialists, the art, the music, the PE. What did they say in Illinois for you all?
They have not said anything yet. I wasn't able to read over the guidelines that came out yesterday, but they talked about in-person and preparing for online. But also I saw something about teaching in the classrooms or eating in the classroom. So they haven't said anything about specials. I think those would still go on. They're going to still have those.
Yeah, ours is looking like that combination part there.
Yeah, the hybrid learning. That's what
Yeah.
we found as well. We actually did a recent survey of about 100 principals and 100 teachers and found that I think it was something like 90% were planning to do a combination of both the hybrid, the in-person distance learning, and then also virtual learning. So, all right. Thanks for everyone for participating in nice. And Deanna said that her gym opened up. Nice. That's awesome. I know in Vancouver, they've been doing sort of a model where they open up the gym, but there's limited capacity. So you have to sign up for like a time slot, which is, I think, a smart way to do it. All right. So first question of the day. I'm curious, what asynchronous and synchronous technologies are you using to keep students moving while at home? I know school's probably out right now for almost everybody, but when you were doing the virtual learning, what technologies were you using to connect with your students?
So for us in Loudoun County, I've been able to do both asynchronous and synchronous. The asynchronous, every week on our PE page, Round Hill PE, on our YouTube page, Round Hill PE, we've been able to create through Google Meets, the other PE teacher and I, we get together virtually and we compete against each other doing 3 different minute-to-win-it activities. And every week we've been able to put out different minute-to-win-it challenges for the students to do. And we put out balloon, cup stacking, the Open National Field Day. We put out a bunch of field day stations on that one. Fitness, ball variety, and then summer water fun. Plus we've done some STEM in the gym activities, all asynchronous. Now the synchronous, every Tuesday, Thursday, I've been allowed to get into the classroom where we have the same grid view going on. And I can see, I'll get in 3 classes on Tuesday and 4 classes on Thursday, and I can do an interaction activity with the students, synchronous learning, where I can see them, they can see me, and usually my golden retriever's in the background. He's on the floor right now, but the kids get a kick out of that, us being able to connect that way.
So I had been we use Google for our district. So I've been using Google Classroom, and I would go on there and put my assignments for the week. I think my first one was actually Splats, go to the Splats app, because that's what I was doing right when school shut down. So I put that up there for the kids to go on and explore virtually. They were all able to come to this school and pick up Chromebooks. So the ones that had them came, picked them up. They had Chromebooks to use at home. And then I would just put up assignments every week, and I tried to stay on what I would do if I was at school. You know, like if I was doing kicking or jump rope, things like that, I would try to keep the lesson on that, and I would put a new one up every week. And I would give them plenty to do for the week. With the with them being with their teachers and all the teachers on different schedules, I just left it open, and I told all my teachers also that just have the kids go in whenever they find some time and go through and do the activities, the lesson. And then I left the past ones up also so they could go back and do any of them really. And I had a lot of students commenting and communicating back with me on what they were doing as far as those lessons were. So that's how it went with my district, my school.
And what were you using sorry, did you say Google Classroom to post all your activities?
Yes, I use Google Classrooms. And then I could also send out information through Class Dojo also. So I can put a video or two on there also.
Awesome.
And as for me, most of mine was basically all mine was asynchronous. I wasn't allowed to do any video or get on or meet with my kids, unfortunately. So I just basically created a whole Google slide with links, and I tried to keep it in the same format of what I was using in the gym. So we did like a warm up and activity and then a cool down. And once they clicked on it, then it brought them to another page where they got some choice of what they wanted to do, that they dance or a fitness activity. And I was hoping I didn't really get to track and see who came and who didn't, but I could go in there sometimes and see that some kids were on it, but I don't know if it's the same people or different, but that's what I used.
Nice. Sounds like it was pretty different from state to state for everyone. And I'm curious too, if you guys have any sort of big lessons learned from your time with virtual learning, and if it was going to come back in the fall, which hopefully there'll be some in person too, but if it was only virtual, sort of, would there be anything that you do differently, or what were your sort of big lessons learned?
As we were going through the virtual, the first week we did it, we found a little sticker shock, where everybody was shocked and surprised as to what was going on. So what we found out, and you'll find as our minute-to-minute activities progress, we started using more equipment that can more easily be found in the home. Stuff where you just take a sock and roll it up, turn it into a ball. But each one of us, like Mr. Loest, the guy I did it with, would do one size ball. I would do a different size ball. So where we could get K through 3 siblings exercising with 3rd, 4th, 5th siblings, or differentiation. You could pick which level you wanted to do. And so we found that instead of the kids, after they do the classroom material, by the time they do the specialist, it's hard for them to do it individually. We found it best if they were all able to do it together at the same time. So it's when our videos became more 3 through 5th grade videos of challenges that the kids could do with equipment that they could find at home, and that we were able to hit more of our population.
If I do anything different, I think it would be, I would go in and try to talk to my other teachers and see if I could join them for a little bit. Like was mentioned already, do that. And then also maybe try to make some more personalized videos. I know there's always showing like YouTube videos and other videos out there, but I think the kids enjoy it more when they can see you and it's more personalized. I can use names and, they just see a familiar face. So I may try to do more of that, use my own personal videos for them.
Yeah, I agree with David wholeheartedly. Next time I use other videos that I had found or had done, or what we maybe done in the class that the kids already enjoyed. But I definitely, if we continue this, I want to do more videos of myself so the kids can see me, especially if I don't get to see them. So at least they can see my face and know that, I'm caring about them. I can send them little messages. And also I want to connect, like David said, with what the teachers are using so that maybe I can have a little bit more interaction, which most of my teachers were using Seesaw. So I want to get connected with that.
I used Google Meets with my classes. I had 3 classes a day. Like on Tuesday was 3 through 5, and then on Thursday was like K through 2, and we did some minute to win it scavenger hunts, and we exercised. And I also used YouTube. We did videos, exercises together and different activities. And I also had them make some homemade equipment.
Nice. Yeah, YouTube is such a great resource, and like Eric was mentioning too, I think using things from home is really smart. getting
Yeah,
creative.
Vicky, I like your idea of the home equipment, having them create things that are already in their house for them. That's a great, and it can also be a STEM lesson there also. But that's a great way for to individualize your lesson. It makes it more personal for them. I like that, Vicky.
Thank you.
And one thing John Dunlop has said that he found the biggest thing missing during the spring was that kids couldn't do group activities. Everything was sort of individual, personal fitness based. So he used Screencastify a lot to create online lessons to post to the classroom. Awesome. Love that. Yeah, so my next question is how, just kind of leading into that, I think John or David was mentioning it, how to get families or parents involved. Did you have any experience with that, and what was that like?
All right, so I chuckled because I just responded to, I think it was John who put up there the lacking of the groups. And that's where we switched a lot of ours also more towards the family side to create that group within it. So that's funny that, you know, we first started off in the beginning, everything was individual, but then we moved into individual grade, and then we moved into K through 2 as a grouping, 3 through 5 as a grouping, and then we moved into K through 5 as a grouping. And then we moved into trying to really incorporate the family so we could get those group activities going. But as far as the social network distancing problem, you can't get with friends across the street. You can't encourage them to get with friends across the street. If they did it, that's completely up to them. But yeah, we started engaging the family members a lot. There's a social network for teachers site called Padlet, and it's just pictures, it's not videos. So we encouraged our kids when they would get out and do activities to put something up on our Padlet page. We had a Round Hill PE activity Padlet page, and then we were able to type, interact with them, find it. Yes, oh, I like what you're doing. Oh, look at that family. That's nice. You know, we were able to interact with them virtually. It's not the same at all, but it was nice to still be able to see the kids and the families.
Nice. And
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go on, David.
Okay. No, I was going to say, with John and Eric too, I agreed. Anytime I'd send my assignments out or my activities out, I would mention, you know, find family to talk about it with and do it with, you know, in your household, even with extended family if they were there. And then, like I said, our teachers already use Class Dojo anyway throughout the whole school year. So they're already connected. And then the school is connected, individual classes are connected. They all connect me with it. So I could pretty much reach out to anybody, or if I need to hear from somebody, I could ask a teacher and they could reach out to them. So Class Dojo for our school has kind of been the go-to for connecting with families. And I think they pretty much had everybody on it and could communicate with them.
Nice. Yeah, I was going to ask you a little bit more about that too, because you had talked in our earlier conversations about, you know, ways, even if you don't have a dedicated virtual PE class, I think it was you, David, who was saying that you were kind of partnering, and maybe Eric as well, with other teachers and then kind of doing a drop-in on their class for like 15 or 20 minutes, which I thought was a really cool idea of, you know, how to get students, when it's an option for video. I know it wasn't for you, Crystal, but just having a way to connect with students, even though you don't necessarily have your own personal class. How did that work? Did you get a lot of engagement through that?
Yeah, for us, it was similar to this, but instead of Zoom, we used Google Meets, but you would see, and I'm pointing at you, Lauren and Crystal, you would see everyone in the grid view. And that's the problem I would have. I'd point to the chat area over there where I put resources for them. But I would have the teacher use the present mode, and I would give her an exercise video for us to do. And I would start off talking about nutrition, you know, what foods are good for us this time when we're locked inside and we can't get out, you know. And I'd ask the kids in the chat to type in what they've been eating. And then the teacher would present on her corner of this screen a video, and I'd have all the kids stand up, push in their chairs or their desks or get off their bed, and we would do different activities for the nutrition integration type stuff moving around. But I got to see, just like this, I got to see everyone. And that's the part that, we need that. We picked PE for a reason. We don't like classes with 24 students. We like classes with the whole school, 580,000 kids. You know, so for us to be able to not see the kids has just been heartbreaking. To see them in this grid view, for me, Tuesday 3 times, Thursday 4 times, just phenomenal. I loved it.
Awesome. Yeah, I am. And Diane was saying that they played dance music and they danced every class at least once, which I thought was really awesome.
Yeah, I teach in a small private school in Fairfield. So what we're doing now is what I did every day, because I teach a group of 3rd and 4th graders. And so I saw them and didn't feel that disconnect that I was reading about. I have a New York accent, but I live in Iowa. It's been my home for about 30 years now, but everybody, where are you from? But anyway, I did get to see my students every day from Monday to Friday, but we needed to move. And so I love your idea of you teaching the exercise, because I relied on this guy, P.E. Joe or something from England.
Yeah.
But what great ideas he had. The kids liked him. And then I would just throw on all kinds of dance music from around the world, and I could see we were dancing together. So that saved us. The favorite was, Pharrell Williams, the happy one. Because, we weren't always feeling happy sometimes. I'd say, all right, come on, let's get up and let's pretend we're happy. Anyway, that was my experience. I have taught PE. I'm not trained, but in the school I work at, I made my way into the PE department for a number of years, but I'm back in the classroom again. The activity is very important during this time.
Good for you. That's excellent. Good.
Thanks for sharing. And Lori said that they did homemade obstacle courses, which I love. Like, you can use anything in your house and I love the idea of, it kind of reminds me of one of the activities from our SPLATS lessons where you have to it was a found art sculpture where you had to grab things from all around the house and create an art sculpture. So I love the idea of taking things from all over the house to create an obstacle course.
As long as afterwards, from the parent perspective, they put it all back.
Definitely. So can you guys share any examples of like favorite games or activities for students to do at home that don't require any equipment, or that, as we were talking about, uses things just from around the house where it's like it could be different for every student?
So we did a fitness you choose that. If you look at our YouTube numbers, it really doesn't say how many times. It says the views, how many times folks are seeing it, but we found out that because of hyperlinks through Google sites, we weren't able to see how many folks are actually accessing the Google link. But we found that my PE teacher does the YouTube thing, or Facebook. I'm not big on Facebook, but my PE teacher friend is. And there's already a Round Hill community Facebook group. And on that, he would put up our videos, and boom, they were getting more hits through the Round Hill community Facebook site than they were through us. And the fitness one we did ended up getting the most hits. And that one we did with, which teacher? We did that with a teacher from another school. And so we did 3 exercises for upper body, and each PE teacher did a different exercise for the upper body for that 1 minute. So we encouraged the kids, after you did 1 minute with Mr. T, which was me, go back and do 1 minute with the other PE teacher, go do 1 minute with the other PE teacher. And so for us to only do 1 minute, the students were doing 3 minutes. And we did that for 3 different minutes. We did an upper body, a core, and a lower body. And with each one, there were 3 exercises. So at the end, the students and the families were doing 9 different fitness exercises. But for us, it was only 3. So on our Round Hill community page, that one got the most chat going around because the parents were able to 9 1-minute workouts. They were able to get a good workout going with their family and with their students.
That's awesome. How about you, Crystal? What kinds of activities were you doing on the slides that you made for your kids?
Yeah, I did an assortment, but fitness I think was, and dance. My kids really like that, so copying some dance things and the fitness. And I used some of those dice from YouTube or the cards, where if you just started the video and then you pushed the pause button, it would reveal the card and then it would correspond to whatever activity. So I did a bunch of those because you can make a bunch of them with different activities for the kids to do, or a certain dance move, and they really like those.
Yeah, I love the randomization aspect
The
of that.
kids
That
like
was
that
gonna be
too.
another one of my questions. Yeah.
They like to be able to choose or have that randomization instead of just saying, hey, do this one.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. We had used to do a boot camp class where every letter was associated with a different exercise, and then you had to spell out your name.
Yeah, I posted one of those up too. I just put different things in and say, spell your name, or sometimes, a certain fitness component or things like that that correlated to the class for us. But yeah, they like those too.
How about you, David? Any favorites?
Not really favorites, like I mentioned, the splats. And then, as I said, every week I didn't want to keep putting like fitness activities every week. I always wanted to mix it up. So every time I put something on, like when I had kicking, for example, I would just encourage them to, whatever the activity was, I know there probably wasn't a lot of equipment at home. So I would say, talk about it with your family, be creative, try to be creative and see what you can come up with to do this activity, even if you don't have the equipment. So just trying to get the kids to be thinking and problem solving while they're, doing the activity, and then just do the best they can.
Nice. Which splats activity did you try?
I know they all liked whack-a-mole. We did it at school, and honestly, I can't remember the others, but I had them, I had showed them before where to go on there. So I also wanted them to explore. So whatever ones they got to pick and do, play around with, read with family and do them.
Nice. We just came out with actually a STEM and fitness activity pack, which has 6 different activities that include some sort of movement. So I can share that at the end of the meetup with everyone too.
And I know we want our kids to be active too, but I was going to chime in and say some other things that I did based on what they may or may not have at home. But kids like to create games. They'd always be like, can we play this, or can you change the rules? So I did some like creative writing activities and gave them some like prompts of how to create their own game, or if you could have your own playground, what would it consist of? What pieces of equipment would you have? Things like that. And I think they like some of that too.
Yeah, choice is so important. Jackie shared that she collaborated with the music teacher and created choice boards with 6 different choices for the week, and then they Zoomed.
Good.
Anything to add on that, Jackie?
Well, I learned so much because technology for the music teacher and myself was not a strength. So we learned so much. Google, Zoom, making choice boards, creating it so they could link to things. But once we got that figured out, kids and parents really enjoyed the activities we posted. And I'll tell you, I stole from everyone. I've stole from YouTube, from, any open, everything out there. It was just wonderful to have those resources available. And, PE people are great to share so many things. So, yeah, I was a thief, and I took from a lot of different people, but it made a nice package for us.
Yeah, but that's what they're out there for. They're not,
Yes.
it's not stolen or thieved, but we're sharing. You put them out there, and that's what we encourage everyone through Twitter, PE, #PhysEd, through YouTube. Share. Collaboration is so important. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love it. I'm a thief too, but and the kids are funny because they're like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Oh, that's my best friend. He, I go to conferences with him, and his name's this." And then later on, they'll be like, "Can you show me another video with Mr. T in it?" I'm like, "Yeah, you got it. Do it."
I love the collaboration too that this has brought between teachers. I've seen a few people mention in the chat. Deanna's I'm looking at right now of specifically collaboration between PE and music. I think that's so awesome. It looks like they did a virtual talent show, which I love the idea of that. How did that go? Did you want to share anything on that?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, we did that for the last week. We were using Seesaw, And we did a virtual talent show, and that was like the week where we were getting a lot of drop off the week before. So then when we did that, it was like they were just hams. We got so much participation. And then the final week, we were able to create blogs on Seesaw. And so the activity was just to write a respectful and kind comment on at least 2 other people's activities that they could see. And so they really got into like talking to each other and like liking each other's, you know, what they had turned in. And so it became more of this social thing, and they were just showing us what they were doing at home, which was really kind of nice to see too. But I also wanted to say I agree with Jackie, like I feel like we had 2 weeks to figure out how to teach PE online.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how PE, like I am so amazed at all the PE teachers that were sharing stuff online and creating stuff so quickly, because I didn't have the bandwidth for it while I was trying to figure out how to do this online the way that my district wanted us to do it. So I was very grateful. And I was also like using and like eating up everything that I could find in terms of putting on assignments, because I didn't have the time to create that stuff as much as I don't know how people do it. Honestly, I'm an older PE teacher, so I don't know. I just don't have the bandwidth for it. So I was very appreciative and also stealing a bunch of stuff. So
Yeah, that hashtag HPE at home. HPE at home.
yes, I was using that.
Yeah, so you just type that in a search and daily,
Yes.
ideas just flowing through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
And we have Jory, I think he's still with us, that made a virtual emoji classroom. That sounds really cool, with videos for physical fitness testing and practicing push-ups and curl-ups. Sounds like I need something like that. My push-ups are not looking good these days. Anything to add on that, Jory? You're still with us? Hi.
Yeah, I'm here. A music teacher had made some virtual and PE, the virtual Bitmoji class slides, and so I watched somebody's video on how to make one, and my wife has now made some. She's also a teacher as well. Someone had put on there as far as how do you share the video. So my son and I created a video on all these different push-up and curl-up practice videos, and then we posted it on YouTube, and then I linked the picture to the YouTube video.
Yeah,
that's what we had done. And so we had a great time, because at least for my students, K5, our students struggle primarily with push-ups and curl-ups. So I'm like, if I can give them a way to be able to practice their push-ups and curl-ups over and over and over and over, you know, that should help our physical fitness testing. So I kind of tried to make it fun. I even had videos that had the push-up cadence and the curl-up cadence and the California videos on how to actually do them correctly. And so I had included all of that there.
Cool. Wow, you guys sound super with it on all the new trends. I never even heard of Bitmoji classrooms, so that's very cool.
Yeah.
I did want to ask Coach Thomas, you mentioned superhero workouts. That sounds pretty epic. What does that look like?
What it looks like students getting out their Halloween costume and dressing up as superheroes, and we working out. It was fun for the parents. It was extra exciting for the kids to see all the Wonder Womans, the Spider-Mans, the Superman. And I, of course, was Thanos, you know, the best villain out there. And we just worked out. And whoever could outwork me, they got to be the superhero of the day. You know, so that was it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And another thing, and after that, we incorporated a family. Well, I incorporated a family event to where the family would actually help the kids with we would integrate family events where the parents would help them count. Everyone would get a chance to lead a stretch or exercise, and they would count either multiples by ones, twos, threes, all the way up to maybe 40. And then I would get the parents to kind of help them if need to. I teach pre-K all the way up to 3rd grade. So that's where the ones come in. So a lot of the pre-Ks can't count up to 20 and 25, but you know, I kind of encourage them, maybe do a plank to count to 15 or something like that, and everybody up, let's go, let's get it.
That's good. Good job.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that. And I guess this is a question for everybody. So, you know, with things up in the air this fall, is there anything that you're planning on doing differently if distance learning continues? Any new things that you want to try out, or just strategies for trying to get students engaged?
For us, it's going to be keep the course going. We liked what we had going as we learned as we were progressing, and we finally liked where we got it at the end, where we had ourselves. So we're going to continue the Google Sites, the Padlets, the virtual lesson, and the weekly videos of us sending home. And now that we've connected with the Facebook group of Round Hill community, you know, that's helped tremendously. Going in the classrooms digitally, virtually. We like everything that we had going on at the end. We were really able to connect with them, and so we're going to keep that boat moving forward probably.
Nice.
Yeah, just like I mentioned, I want to do more videos with me in them so the kids can see me every week. And then, you know, try even do, if I post an activity, actually do it myself and go through it with kids, and then, you know, they can look at it and watch the video and go through it as well. And then also just trying to, like we talked about earlier, just popping in, talking to teachers and popping in on their classrooms once in a while and see if I can do something real quick with them there.
I want to do the same thing I mentioned before too, and hopefully if our platform for our county changes, I can be able to pop in and see some of my kids to join in on their classrooms. But I also definitely want to incorporate some more of the virtual splats this time.
Nice. Yes, and I'm excited to share more to come. We're definitely feverishly working for more virtual activities that include physical activity, but also some of the STEM, important STEM things as well. Does anybody else have anything to add? Anything you learned that you want to share with the group? Cool. And if anybody has any questions for David, Eric, or Crystal, feel free to hop in as well. Otherwise, I'll just keep on talking. I think I'm going to share a couple things that are upcoming with Unruly too.
I have a quick question. I'm really curious as to what we're thinking it's going to look like in like when we're actually, if we're in the schools. Like I said, my gym just opened and I was running on the treadmill with a mask on, and I was like, I was dying. I was like, oh my God, I got to turn this down. I've got to like cool down, because it was really, it's so much harder to breathe. It's so much more work. And then I was thinking, how are we going to teach? How are we going to teach physically in a gym with kids wearing masks? And like, we're supposed to be raising their heart rate and getting them to, you know, MVPA. And like, I'm curious as to how we're going to be able to manage that part, that piece of it with masks, and what it will look like when we go back to the gym. Does that make sense?
It totally does. And so we've been doing a lot of brainstorming and sharing with PE teachers across Twitter and throughout Virginia. I've got a text group of PE teachers from different parts of Virginia, and man, we have no clue what this is going to look like. No clue. And even when you hear the school board, Loudoun County School Board meeting, everything they've talked about was classroom based. We've yet to hear anything to talk about specialists. What's going to happen during that day, during the 7 hours when they're not in the classroom? Are they going to be allowed to leave their classroom? Are we going to go in the classroom? You know, I think we're still going to be all virtual here for the first month or 2 months. I hate to say that because I want to see my kids, but everything, I haven't heard an exact answer from everyone. Everything's been theory based.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really knows, and I've heard the same thing that you're saying, which is why I kind of feel like within my cohort of PE teachers here, we feel like we need to come together and come up with what we want it to look like, so that so that we're not just told like you have to do this, but we all have a plan. Like but I think right now people, we haven't really gotten to that point yet, but I think it's important for us as PE teachers to like come together and think about what that means in our own schools and our own district, because otherwise we're going to be just told that what to do or what not to do, and it may or may not make sense if someone that isn't teaching that content is telling you how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone listen to Deanna there. Be proactive. The most important thing as a PE teacher, be proactive. Don't let others dictate what you're doing, because they're not the professionals. You are the professional. You know what works best for your kids. Once you find out the situation, start collaborating with other PE teachers and be proactive, please. There's a lot of counties throughout the US that are shutting down their art, music, PEs in the upcoming year, and we cannot allow that. Be proactive.
Randy's also saying here in Ohio that districts have been sending out forms for parents to fill out for their district to decide what they will offer. But hopefully they're also doing that with all the teachers as well, like you said, Eric, so they can be involved in what it looks like.
Yeah.
I know I was just kind of looking at our Illinois guidelines real quick, and just minimum ones. It says they're going to require use of appropriate equipment. It doesn't really say masks. I mean, I think some are talking about shields also, but requiring the appropriate use of those, no more than 50 people gathering in one space, which would be why they'd be eating in their classrooms. And then just checking temperature and doing safety checks when they come in the morning. To me, if they're eating in a classroom, I mean, it's not a good situation, but I see it as exciting as I might get my full gym maybe, which would allow more space and more spacing. But without really not knowing anything, I try not to stress about it, and I just take it as it is. And I kind of, when it comes to that time, you know, I see what's given to me, and then I kind of go from there. So I try to plan a little bit ahead, but I'm kind of not going to worry about anything until I hear what's going on with our states. I know our district is working on a plan right now if we're going to go back or not. So for me, it's just kind of wait and see.
I will say I've been super impressed just by PE teachers in general all across the country just being very proactive, and even just the fact that we've got 32 people here on a Wednesday afternoon, you know, that just shows that your passion and commitment to it. So I mean, yeah, just reinforces we love working with PE teachers. We think you guys are awesome, and I know if you are resilient and you teach resilience, so I know that you guys will make it work. And one other thing too that I forgot to ask Crystal about actually is just the importance of student connection. And during normal times, I think you do a really good job of teaching students how to work as a team and talking about feelings. And so, yeah, I'd love if you'd share a little bit about sort of how you approach kind of student interactions in PE class, and how PE can play a really big role actually with social emotional learning and what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's huge. I mean, one of the big things I stress for my kids is teamwork, cooperation. That's a big word for us, because if we don't work together in this room, none of these games or activities are going to work, and then it's not going to be fun if we don't play by the rules and things like that. So that's something big I stress to my students, and it just carries on throughout, you know, the rest of the building and their lives as adults. And I tell them, look, there's people that I don't care for that I work with, but I treat them with respect, and, you know, we do things to get along and we're productive. That's just life. So yeah, I try to do a lot with that students, and I hold them accountable. You know, it's okay to get upset, and it's okay to, you know, you didn't score that basket. That's okay. But how are you going to react after that? So I'm big on that with my students, and then showing them ways of how you could have done it this way, or we'll have a discussion, or you could have made this decision, or you could have talked, or go over here and take a breath, or things like that. Try to do.
Yeah, you did. This was a while back, but I remember you shared a video during the you did our pilot program where your students were helping each other find the mole. You had spread out the splats, It's one of my favorite videos because they're all so excited to help
Oh,
their
yeah, I think that
teammates
was
find the mole.
kindergarten. I was just trying to even show them how the activity was to be played so that when they went to go do it themselves, and they were so helpful. They're like, we're here. And it's nice because sometimes before they wanted to touch it. And I'm like, but it's not your turn. So then they just, know to point and help. So yeah, it's sweet.
Awesome.
So with us, the way we interact the social part is 5 magic words. Will you be my partner? We teach the kids to talk to each other and to listen and communicate with each other. Will you be my partner? When you ask someone that, their face lights up, they smile. And if they already have a partner, you can't say no to a new friend. You say, sorry, I already have a partner. But next time we do it, you pick a different partner. And next time we do it, you pick a different partner. And we tell folks and we teach the kids that we're building this. It's okay to interact with everyone. And the speech I give my 5th graders at the end is, we're all different. And it's okay that we're different. And it's good that we're different. If we all like the same things, school and life would be boring. So we're always teaching our kids to love others for their differences. And it's your difference that makes you special. And so we're always telling that to our kids, to let them know that, listen, we love you for who you are. And it's important to love others for who they are.
And also too, after we do activities, I tell them all the time, find 3 people, give them a high five and say, thank you for playing with me today. That's just how we end all our games and when we leave.
That's awesome.
I'm actually I'm actually doing a thing this summer with actually start leadership. We're trying to integrate start leadership into a PE profile with, when you talk about SEL, with actually leadership in the classroom with kids. And I think that's the biggest hole that kids don't get in school, is just learning how to work together with each other, and the pieces like that when they get done with school. And this whole thing with start leadership, when you look at when kids get done, when they graduate from school, whether they go into the workplace or they go into college, you have your intelligence, but you have your emotional intelligence, and your emotional intelligence is what you really need in life, and how you work with each other and communicate with each other and things like that. And PE is such a place, especially I know there's a lot of elementary teachers here. There is such a huge place that you can teach kids how to work with each other and how to get along with people, and they can't do that in all their, like in math class and science class and things like that. They don't learn that. And so we have such a great opportunity to teach kids how to be in PE, and we need to use that. And so we need to make sure that we focus on that. Just, they talk about, physical education. There's a lot more to physical education than the physical. So I'm glad that you're bringing that part up here.
John, great job. Great job. Good job. Keep it going.
Awesome. Does anybody have any other questions or just even topics that you want to bring up, or things on your mind? Okay, I will say we at Unruly too have been thinking about, to Deanna's point, what is it going to look like in the fall? And so we had, I mentioned, conducted this survey with about 100 principals and 100 teachers, and it does look like it will probably be a combination of both, and that schools and districts are valuing tools that will give them the flexibility to use, whether it's distance learning or in person and socially distanced. So we at Unruly here have been working on sort of adapting our school memberships to meet those needs. And what we've come up with in the fall, I'm really excited to share, is we're going to be doing a boot camp, sort of back to school boot camp program with Emily, who's here. Hi, Emily, for virtual splats, and also going over games that work for social distance. So that's something that we're working on right now. And we're also offering flexible start dates. So for schools who purchase, I think we're saying before sometime in mid-August or August 30th, and we'll give you a flexible start date. So, whenever your school reopens in person, you can purchase the plan now and have all the access to all the virtual tools, but your actual plan date will start whenever your school opens. So we're offering that flexibility. And for those who are interested and know that it's in the budget, we are giving $200 off school plans for folks who do request a quote before July 15th. So I'll link our request a quote. Actually, if Emily could link it, link in the chat here if anybody is interested. It doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is send in the form, and then we'll reach out with more details. And definitely working on all new resources for virtual and socially distanced learning. Emily and Tuan and Ryan, who are also on our content team, just did a webinar. It's awesome, on our 6 virtual activities for STEM and fitness. And so in the webinar and within the activities, you'll learn how to code stopwatches and timers and countdowns so that you can create games, and the kids can do it at home too, where, you know, they'll be running around the house, doing a crab walk to the kitchen. It's just totally flexible. And then there's definitely that option of, like, you know, whatever the randomization, if the splat lights up red, then the red associates with a certain exercise. So they get that kind of randomization in there too. So for those interested, if you put your email in the chat, then I can definitely send you an email with the webinar link, as well as the STEM and fitness guide. And if you guys are on the website too, it's just under our lessons. It's all available there as well. Actually, I can link it here. STEM and fitness. Let me see. So that's sort of what we're working on. Anything that I miss, Emily?
I don't think so. If there's any way that we can be helpful, it's amazing that you all are here, and anything we can do to help, please just let us know. We're always looking for new ways to come up with different materials and ways to help you all out. So please let us know.
And I'm just working on getting you the link. I should have been prepared with it for the fitness activity pack. So I'm going to link that in the chat for those who are interested. That's just a link directly to our PDF. Found it. So that's the PDF that I just linked in the chat. And then for those who want to check out our webinar, I will link that too. And we actually did some of the activities live in the webinar too. So if you just want to see us looking silly, then that's also in the webinar. All right. Perfect. Oops, I'm not sending it to everybody. Sorry about that. Sorry, Randy, I've been sending you the private messages instead of sending it to everybody. All right. Any other last notes? I think that's it from our end. It's been so amazing and inspiring to hear all that you guys have been doing, and just so resilient, the most resilient community ever. You guys are amazing. Let us know, as Emily said, if there's anything that we can do to help you, or any questions that you have about splats or activities or ideas that you have. We are all ears. So
yeah, and thank you, Lauren and Emily, for putting this together.
Yeah,
yes, thank you.
No worries. Cool. And I will email out this recording as well to everybody who registered, and I'll also include the link to the activity pack and the other webinar too, if you guys are interested, because that's pretty specific for PE. And what I will say is the coding part for the STEM and fitness activities, it does look a little bit complicated, but we're here for you guys if you want to set up sort of a meeting with us to help, or if you have any questions or things like that, you know, we're here. And Emily's going to be running a boot camp, so definitely recommend signing up for that when it comes out.
Yeah, one other thing on that PDF that Lauren just sent out, it is designed to be, you can use it synchronously or asynchronously, but you can send it directly to students. So it walks through step by step, kind of like IKEA assembly style, how to assemble a program, and all of the programs build off of each other. So just keep that in mind too when you're taking a look at it. It's not like a standard lesson plan.
Awesome. And you made it like that on purpose too, so it's easy to send to students as well to do the learning at home, right?
Yeah, that was I think a big point of feedback that we've gotten really over the past semester, I think, is just providing different formatting of activities. It's not necessarily realistic to think that you're going to be like having synchronous time with students, or if you do, it's going to look very different during this time. So that's why we started packaging our materials like this. And we'd love to know what you think. If you've checked out any of our previous activities, they're a lot more lean. So we always have just like one image of the code, provide some suggestions, a few standards, and that's about it. And this time, it's really step by step and it's really granular, and we talk about why we do different things. They also all come with a video, which is also nice, especially for the PE ones. If we use particular exercises or particular dance moves in a couple of cases, we demonstrate what those are. So you can piece them together, but it was a lot of fun to make. So love to hear what you all think.
Yeah, teaser, there's a robots dance activity in the PE pack. So, all right. Well, that's it for me. David, Eric, Crystal, anything else to add?
No, just thank you everyone for coming out today, and what a great discussion. I'm so glad that you all are so proactive within your community. Just keep it going, stay positive with each other, continue to share, continue to steal and thieve from others, but don't lock into being just you. Expand out and really use other people's materials, reach out, share what's working for you. Help others out. Just make our PE community that much stronger, that much better. Keep it up. You guys are doing a great job.
Absolutely. Well said, Eric. And in the chat, I'll just put down my email if anybody has questions or things later and they want to reach out.
Thanks, Crystal. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. It was such a pleasure. Thanks for joining us on this wonderful Wednesday. And I'm sure we'll see you again soon for the next one. We'll definitely do this again. Thanks, everyone. See ya.